Hello learners, this is Habiba with Excel with me. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Today we are going to start with the topic that is hypothesis. Already understood what is hypothesis, the concept, what is the concept of hypothesis, and also we understood the sources. Let's understand once again in a quick recap what is a hypothesis. That is tentative solutions or answers of the problem in the course of research, and we understood clearly we are giving already predetermined answers to the questions which we are going to search the answer about. And we understood what are the sources, that is general culture, what pattern of culture helps to formulate our hypothesis that will guide us to have great influence upon the thinking process of us, and also form to test one or more of these ideas. And then scientific theory we understood, that is the knowledge of theory leads us to form further generalizations. And analogies, that is sometimes a hypothesis is formed from the analogy, that is distinction, that is similarity between two phenomena. Now let's understand in detail the types of research hypothesis, which include null and alternative, directional and non-directional hypothesis. Rejecting the null hypothesis and accepting the alternative hypothesis is the true basis for building a good research study. Let's understand clearly, most often a hypothesis describes a relationship between two or more variables. It includes an independent variable and then dependent variable. Already we understood in detail in previous class about these variables. So an independent variable, one that is controlled by the researcher. Then dependent variable, the variable that the researcher observes in association with the independent variable. Now let's understand the first type of hypothesis, that is null hypothesis. A null hypothesis denotes that there is no statistical relationship between the subject variables. It is applicable for a single group of variables or two groups of variables. That is, a null hypothesis is denoted as an H0, that is null hypothesis. This is the type of hypothesis that the researcher tries to invalidate. That is, some of the examples of null hypothesis are hyperactivity is not associated with eating sugar. That is, there is no significance here. All roses have an equal amount of petals. A person's preference for a dress is not linked to its color. So these are all the examples. Now what is alternative hypothesis? An alternative hypothesis is a statement that is simply inverse or opposite of the null hypothesis and denotes as H1. Simply saying it is an alternative statement for the null hypothesis. The same examples will go this way as an alternative hypothesis, that is hyperactivity is associated with eating sugar. Where null hypothesis we say that hyperactivity is not associated with eating sugar. And then all roses do not have an equal amount of petals. Then a person's preference for a dress is linked to its color. Where we said in null hypothesis, a person's preference for a dress is not linked to its color. So these are the examples. Now apart from null and alternative hypothesis, research hypothesis can be categorized into different types. Let's have a look at them. First one is simple hypothesis. That is, this type of hypothesis is used to state a relationship between a particular independent variable and only a dependent variable. That is, only we are taking a dependent variable with the independent variable. Then complex hypothesis, a statement that states the relationship between two or more independent variables and two or more dependent variables is termed as complex hypothesis. In simple, we take independent and dependent variable, just that's all. But here in complex, we take two or more, and also same way two or more dependent and independent variables. Now associative and causal hypothesis. This type of hypothesis involves predicting that there is a point of interdependency between two variables. We are predicting or assuming that there is a point of interdependency between two variables. It says that any kind of change in one variable will cause a change in the other one. Similarly, a causal hypothesis says that a change in the dependent variable is due to some variations in the independent variable. Then comes the directional hypothesis, a hypothesis that is built upon a certain directional relationship between two variables and constructed upon an already existing theory is called a directional hypothesis. To understand more about what is directional hypothesis, here is an example. Girls perform better than boys. That is, better than shows the direction to predict, which is predicted. That is, girls perform better than boys. Already we are assuming that girls perform better than boys. That is some direction we have to go for our research. Now, non-directional hypothesis, it involves an open-ended and non-directional hypothesis that predicts that the independent variable will influence the dependent variable. However, the nature or direction of a relationship between two subject variables is not defined or clear. Let's see the example here. There will be a difference in the performance of girls and boys. That means we are not defining what kind of difference. That is no direction here. So this is non-directional hypothesis. So we come to the end of this session. In the next class, we will understand about the formulation of hypothesis, and in other class we will understand what are the good characteristics of a good hypothesis. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Thanks for your attention and time. Happy learning.